You know, it's so funny to see the entire PlayStation community, you know, the ponies. They are so giddy, they are so happy, they are so elated over Astro Bot. These were the same guys who for years would have, you know, discredit Nintendo for having these same type of kiddie games. But now, all of a sudden, it's okay. Now, it just so happened that in my last video, I would have pointed out some similarities from Astro Bot compared to Nintendo franchises. Well, it just so happened that the internet would have one up what I did. And now they have compiled a number of different clips, as it were, showing how Sony would have basically just copied everything from Nintendo. I mean, it's one thing to be inspired by a company or by different franchises, but it's another thing to just copy and paste exactly what you would have seen from those games in the past. I mean, Sony, you should be ashamed to have copied all of these things from Nintendo. I mean, look at this. Look at this, guys. Look how Sony is getting away with murder, thieving, you know, ideas from Nintendo, and then repackaging it as if it is theirs, like if they, like if they made it up. And the gaming media is eating it up left, right, and center. I'm telling you, it's not that I am saying that this game deserves Game of the Year. I am saying that they are going to give them it. They are going to give Astro Bot Game of the Year. That is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they deserve it. But you know what's the icing on this hypocritical cake? This big chocolate hypocritical cake? You know what's the icing? When it is Starfield came out, they would have put out a number of different articles comparing it to No Man's Sky. I mean, why isn't the gaming media putting up different articles showing that you know, Astro Bot is similar to Mario? I'm not seeing any articles. I'm not seeing any videos by these popular gaming media sites. Come on, this is the Xbox tax in real time. This is the you know, the favoritism of Sony in the gaming industry. But today, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the announcement of the PlayStation 5 Pro. Yes, it's looking like Mark Cerny. Yeah, buddy. Mark Cerny, the guy who watches you every time you put on your PlayStation 5. He is going to, you know, announce the PlayStation 5 Pro today. Yes, today. So it may have gone already, or you know, it might be coming up. So today, Mark Cerny is going to finally talk about the PlayStation 5 Pro. Let's talk about who is this for, and let's see if it is the PlayStation community is actually going to buy this console. But you know what? Let's talk about it.
This is a sickness!
Let's get it. Before we continue the video, guys, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We are growing the channel up to 4,000 subscribers. So if this type of content interests you, please consider subscribing. We give you great Xbox news and takes. Also, we sprinkle a little bit of Nintendo there. And of course, the Sony pony salt raining from the sky like there's no tomorrow. So if this type of content interests you, once again, please consider subscribing. Now let's get back to the video. First up, let's talk about the PlayStation Portal. A number of different Sony fans have been, commenting on the PlayStation Portal and how it's selling so well. I mean, they even posted articles. Sony came up with articles saying that the PlayStation Portal exceeded all their expectations. There were even articles showing that the Portal was the #1 accessory for a particular month. So it had all these good news for the PlayStation Portal. Well, some real numbers came out, and we know that we cannot doubt these numbers because it's coming from our friend Matt Piscatella. And what he is saying is that the PlayStation Portal, you know what? Let's get the actual tweet. Listen to what he's saying here. He tweeted, "So let's talk PlayStation Portal. While it has performed above expectations so far, there's still plenty of room for upside. At the end of July, fewer than 3%."
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Okay.
Did I read that right? 3% of PlayStation 5 owners had purchased a Portal. Could be an area to watch closely for holiday. Source, Sakana Retail Tracker Service. So this is it. These ponies capped for this peripheral. I mean, it's a potato, right? This is literally a potato. Why would these guys cap for this? Who knows? But they capped for it, and basically the US market did not buy the PlayStation Portal. Maybe persons in other countries are buying it, but for the amount of cap, the ponies in the US do, we expect at least more than 3%. I mean, how many PlayStation 5s are there in the US? 25 million sold, 23 million sold. Come on, 3% is just over 700,000 or so. That is terrible for an install base in the US that is over 21 million. But let me hear what you think about the PlayStation community capping again, and when the results come out, it's only 3%. 3? Let me know in the comment sections below. Next up, let's talk about Microsoft attendance at TGS. A lot of the gaming media and fans alike, they would have complained that Microsoft did not announce that they would be at TGS this year. But it just so happened that they will. They will be at TGS. I know fans were speculating that, what they would show at TGS. What are some of the things Microsoft would show? Well, it just so happened that we have a rumor from a Dirt podcast that he had not too long ago. KD is saying that he heard, some specific things. Now, this is a rumor, guys, so take it with a bucket of Sony pony salt. Listen.
The Tokyo Game Show is going to be all their partners that's all in the Eastern market and Asia, all of that stuff. That's encompassing Black Myth Wukong.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
So everybody wants a date for Black Myth. You're going to have a date. I'm not saying Black Myth is inside Game Pass. If it's inside Game Pass, y'all will not get me off of Twitter. Y'all will not get me off of Facebook. Y'all dudes just might as well delete your account and just move to Alaska. And just delete your channel, because I'm popping in your channel. I'm doing all type. I'm asking you for a link. I'm pulling up to your house, knocking on your door with my phone in my hand, asking for a link. You can ask how I found where you live. But I heard the whole slate from Square.
The whole slate, including
the whole slate.
I mean, 7 make. Sorry.
Whatever they don't have. New JRPGs, the whole slate. So whatever contracts y'all think y'all know, whatever you think you know, I heard that's BS. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm from the show me state. You got to show me you got bread for you get in the club. I don't believe you.
Right.
Oh, this is very interesting. It's very interesting because it tells us something about the direction Square Enix is going. If what KD is saying, what he's saying is true, this means a lot. This means that the deal that Sony and Square Enix had in the past really left a sour taste in Square Enix's mouth, to the point where they said, you know what, let's port everything over to other platforms. Sony, these guys don't buy nothing. These ponies, they are just cappers. Yeah, that is why we are seeing if what Katie is saying really comes true. But let me hear what you think about, Square Enix bringing everything over to the Xbox. We're talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake. We're talking about Final Fantasy 16. All those Final Fantasies that were off the Xbox coming to the Xbox. Wow, that would be, unheard of. I mean, these ponies really didn't buy this game. Let me know what you think about it in the comment sections below. And finally, let's talk about the PlayStation 5 Pro. I mean, the PlayStation community was talking about the PlayStation 5 Pro like if it can cure cancer, as if it could walk on water, as if it can multiply the food that is in your house. Yes, this is the PlayStation 5 Pro that the entire PlayStation community was hyping up. Well, it just so happened that it was revealed today. Yes, the PlayStation 5 Pro was revealed today. Let's take a look and see, what it has in store for these ponies.
But when I talk to them, I do hear about their desire for more graphics performance. The dreams of the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes. It can be a difficult choice for players. Fidelity modes emphasize the visuals, typically through higher resolution rendering. These modes might also have enhanced detail or use more ray tracing. But the games only run at 30 frames per second. The visuals can be choppier and the controls less responsive. Performance modes emphasize frame rate and interactivity, typically choosing to run at 60 frames per second, mainly by reducing the graphical detail until those frame rates can be achieved. When asked to decide on a mode, players are choosing performance about 3/4 of the time. Removing that decision, or at least narrowing that divide, is one of the key.
So if you notice the wording he is using, he is not saying that the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to completely eliminate 30 frames per second on the system. What he is saying is that he is trying to eliminate it and at least narrowing that divide. So it means that it's still possible that these guys might still get 30 frames per second on the PlayStation 5 Pro, even 40 frames per second on the PlayStation 5 Pro. You see, you have to listen, guys. You have to listen.
Key targets for PlayStation 5 Pro. We want to give players the graphics that the game creators aspire to, at the high frame rates that players typically prefer. To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3 ways. Here's what we call the Big 3. First, we made the GPU much larger and increased the speed of the memory it uses. The result is rendering that's up to 45% faster. Second, we made major upgrades to the ray tracing, taking a streamlined and accelerated approach that allows calculation of the rays at double or even triple the speeds of PlayStation 5. And finally, we added custom hardware for machine learning and an AI library called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR for short. PSSR analyzes the game images pixel by pixel and can add an extraordinary amount of detail, which boosts the effective resolution of the games. Game creators are adding PS5 Pro support to new and existing titles, and with the Big 3 involved, the results can be pretty amazing, with graphics showing something like fidelity levels of detail, but at double the frame rate. Here's The Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5 Pro. It has huge amounts of detail and targets a super smooth 60 frames per second. Let's compare this to the Fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames per second and is therefore much choppier.
Don't stop! We gotta lose.
this goal of delivering almost fidelity-like graphics at performance frame rates has been achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. We can see that PS5 Pro is close to doubling the power of PlayStation 5. Another way to compare the two consoles is to look at PS5 Pro versus Performance mode on PS5, both of which target 60 frames per second. What we see here is a difference in detail. PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5. For this, my favorite is the parade scene from Ratchet & Clank. Distant details are much clearer. And here we can see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is noticeably higher resolution throughout the scene, including the trees and procedural cars. So overall, some remarkable improvement to the games. On PS5 Pro, we can see increased sharpness to the graphics or smoother and more responsive gameplay. This is the big three showing their value. As you've been seeing, machine learning via the PSSR library is being used quite broadly to add pixel detail and boost frame rate. But there are as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon Forbidden West. Apart from the detail boost, that extra graphics power is allowing for improvements to lighting and visual effects, as well as to the hair and the skin in cinematics.
Open up, guys. Dwarf's orders.
Good enough for me.
Ray tracing is finding broad usage as well, particularly when the games are focused on higher frame rates. The faster hardware in PS5 Pro can make a real difference, allowing Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay, while continuing to support their targeted 60 frames per second. That boost in ray tracing is also delivering big wins for Hogwarts Legacy, allowing not only for better reflections and a greater variety of reflective surfaces, but also for further realism in the casting of shadows. I hope you've enjoyed this run-through of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro. Simply put, it's the most powerful console we've ever built, and a worthy addition to the PS5 family. Let me wrap this up by giving you a quick look at a number of games running on the new console.
You'll never break a legend, 'cause they don't know we are legendary.
Don't let me hang.
It'll be worth it.
Okay.
Did I do it? Oh, what is this? What's with all the neon?
So what do you guys think about the PlayStation 5 Pro? It is the most expensive console ever made. Yes, the most expensive console ever made. Now, if it is you purchasing the PlayStation 5 Pro, you could expect the big three. Mark Cerny said that this console could run faster than Flash entering the Speed Force. What Mark Cerny said is that you will be able to choose to either buy or pay for a car installment or buy a PlayStation 5 Pro. And if you're living in in Europe, oh buddy, 800 euros for a PlayStation 5 Pro. Wow, you guys could, buy a side of fish and chips with this PlayStation 5 Pro. Come on, 800 bucks. The most expensive console ever made. Now we know we do have a little bit of historical data when it comes to the PlayStation 4 Pro. We know only 15% of gamers, would have bought the PlayStation 4 Pro. That is just about 14 million persons bought the PlayStation 4 Pro. So there's not a huge amount of people out there who, want that additional power. We also remember seeing that almost half of PlayStation players are playing on the PlayStation 4 still. They have not migrated to the PlayStation 5 as yet. So would the PlayStation 5 Pro make these individuals jump to the PlayStation 5 family? Well, we'll have to wait and see. One thing I do know, you guys are paying a premium for this console. If it is you want those higher frame rates, if it is you want that new AI technology, then you have to pay to play. So guys, what are you going to do? Are you going to sell your kidney and maybe one of your lung to play this console? Let me know in the comment sections below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.